Yeah, what's going on? This is Jay Ellis from Nick of Time Show here. Give you that Knicks talk just in the nick of time, and it's time to talk about a really disappointing Knicks loss. Knicks lose to the Spurs, big time, 120 to 105. At one point, we were down 28 points. Knicks cut it to 8 single digits in the third quarter, only to let go of the rope and give up career highs by unnamed, no name second rounders once again. Some random others kill the Knicks and has his own career high of 32 points from Mama Sama. I don't remember what his name was, but he killed us. The Knicks defense killed us. The Knicks offense killed us, and we're gonna talk about it all. The bad, and the smidget of good, just very smidget, but a lot ugly. So let's talk about it. Before I do, I'm gonna introduce you to my guy, the Latin Assassin. Wish you could have came here under better circumstances, man, against the Knicks win with the Heat, but you're back with the Knicks loss against the Spurs. Shout out to my guy Lee Escobedo. What's going on, Lee?
Good to see you, Jay. Behind the scenes, my main man Fritz, Fifth Beatle. Yeah, I took a little time off to spend time with family. My mom's birthday was a part of was on last game, so I was spending the entire day with her. Hadn't seen her in a while. And you know what? With me this season, coming back for a loss to me is the same as coming back for a win. I've not gotten too overly excited or emotional with whatever happens. However, Tom Thibodeau definitely got outcoached this game. And in terms of the Knicks, man, I think about the Knicks as like a Greek myth. You know, we all know about the story of Achilles, where his mom, Thetis, dipped him in the river Styx as an infant, but was holding on to his heel. So that was the only part that didn't get the godlike of invulnerability. And I feel like the Knicks heel, historically, under James Dolan, is some no-name bum coming off
Yeah,
the bench and ripping us a new one. And tonight it was Mama Say, Mama Sama, knock you out.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
say Mama.
The guy spent like one day was born in New York, spent one day in New York, saw the Knicks, New York on the jersey, and had a career night. Ain't the truth, man. It's just the way things are under James Dolan ownership.
Yeah. Shout out. I'm gonna get his name right sometime this night, just out of respect. Shout out to Mama K Wuchi V. That's the best I can do. I'm on my ebony tip tonight. All right. Shout out to that guy who killed us. I feel like Glamour said it best on Twitter. Knicks sometimes playing up and down to their competition. Today was definitely on the downtrend. Karl-Anthony Towns scored 25 points in the first half alone. Another Knicks starter did not score until about a minute and 30 seconds left in the second quarter. You look no further than the offense, although their defense wasn't any better because the transition defense was horrible. They pick and rolled us to death in that first half. It was all bad. It seems like when we got down, that's when we wanted to get up, and that's when the help defense started to kick in. But overall, it just seems like we just did not have the energy level to match up with the Spurs team, who did not have Mignana, did not have the Aaron Fox, and I know it is like I'm in the grand scheme of things. We know we're making the playoffs. This game doesn't mean much, but it's extremely disappointing to lose to a team like this without two of their best players for sure.
Yeah, totally agree with you, man. And I think one of the reasons why I love doing these shows with you and I love being in a group chat with you and I love talking ball with you is you, like me, you've watched a lot of basketball in your life. Not just the Knicks, hoops. You've played basketball yourself. You've been on the other side of massive L's and on the side of massive W's. Life is like ball. It has highs and lows, peaks and valleys. So to me, I come into every season expecting embarrassment at some point because it mirrors life. There are times where at one moment you can be elated. Mitchell Robinson, best game back, dominating the Heat. We smack them. We keep them under 100. And the following game, you get beat by a underhanded play-in team when they're fully healthy, right? That's just how life is. I was on Twitter. I had to log off. I was like, people are like, fire Tibbs this, trade Josh Hart that. Precious Achiuwa is the worst basketball player in the world. Like, get Carl Anthony Towns off my team. Why do we trade 5 first-round picks? And I'm just like, look, man, excuse my language, this shit happens all the time. Every team in the NBA, except for the one or two every season that are playing the best basketball this year, that's Oklahoma City Thunder and the Cleveland Cavaliers, they have very few weaknesses. But at times, those weaknesses are exposed in the postseason. We saw with OKC last year, where they couldn't guard the corner three with PJ Washington and Dallas. They were eliminated. Minnesota last year was playing fantastic. Cat was D'ing up everybody. Then they faced the Mavs. They got smashed. They couldn't guard Lively and Gafford in the post. Lobs were destroying them. This happens every year, especially it happens to the teams that are in the middle part of contention. We are not at the end game yet. We are still facilitating and building our championship contender, and there will be lows. There will be valleys. This is one of them. We don't have Jalen Brunson. To me, Jalen Brunson is the equalizer that keeps us from playing down to our competition at times because he can come in and close. When you don't have him, you have to depend on synergy, ball movement, screen navigation, attention to detail, running your routes, the game plan, and that falls on both the players and the coach. Tonight was an opportunity to experiment. Tibbs did not experiment. Instead, he stuck to what he knew. He played lineups that don't work. Precious, Hart, Mitch, horrible offense, horrible spacing, and allow them to go back to that damn 2-3 zone, 32 zone that has killed us all year. We couldn't attack it because we didn't have shooters on the floor. This happened. There is no coach in the NBA that is impervious to these types of mistakes. So is this L on Tibbs? Yes. There's every team in the NBA, every head coach, and I see you, Sandman, Tom Thibodeau, absolutely tonight. But every coach, Mazzulla, Udoka, Kerr, Mike Malone, even the darling of OKC, Dagnall, they are all sometimes criticized by their fan bases for making the wrong adjustment, the wrong rotation, the wrong play call, the wrong last-second shot, the wrong out-of-bounds play. This happens every year to every team. We are in the midst of it tonight. But guess what? Tomorrow could be a brighter day.
Clip that up, man. You said it perfectly, bro. You said it perfectly.
Appreciate you, brother.
Yeah, you said that perfectly. Precious Josh Hart and Mitch should never share the floor ever again in life, man.
Yeah.
Like, it should just not happen. It is brutal watching that lineup. Brutal. Zero spacing, man. Zero spacing. Like, it's funny. I love Precious. Precious is really good as insurance when other bigs are out. But when our bigs are back, I just don't see a place for him on his team. And
Agreed.
It doesn't has nothing to do with his, like, he has skill sets, but Thibodeau says it best. Like, how does your skill set gel with the rest of the team? So it's like, at this point, like, that lineup should just not be used anymore. At this point, you gotta try, whether it be Bacone, who can space the floor, whether it could be PJ Tucker, who's kind of been washed, but has a reputation of spacing the floor. Like, we need to kind of break that second unit up to have some type of shooting and spacing to not kill us for stretches at a time, man. Like, that has to happen.
100%.
And on top, you want to say something? Go ahead.
I would say, every team, they have that guy that sometimes doesn't fit with the rest of the roster. The good teams weed that guy out and keep the ones that provide a above average attribute. And for me, I think about Josh Hart in the starting lineup and Mitchell Robinson being really the one and only big off the bench. Those two guys being part of the main 7-man rotation, you have to account for the complementary pieces that are played alongside them. What are the strengths and what are the weaknesses? And Precious, with that combination, it was different when Hot Porty was in the rotation and Karl Anthony Towns was playing the 5. It was a different situation. Now we have two guys who are playing the bulk of the minutes that cannot score and will not shoot threes. Mitch and Hart. Precious no longer has a role with this rotation. Now, maybe there's an injury. Maybe the roster's tweaked. Maybe Dadiat isn't moved in. Maybe Shamet finds his three-point shot. Maybe Jalen Brunson Cat starts shooting more threes. Then those adjustments, those minor alterations, they can allow for a new variable to be entered in, and Precious put it back into rotation. Right. But what I see forthcoming is Mitch is here to stay. Hart is here to stay in the starting lineup. That means Precious has to be removed. And that makes it more sense for Pacome at some point. I would disagree with it happening this season because Tibbs is just not going to play a rookie.
I
That's
agree.
one of the legendary faults of him as a head
Yep.
coach. He travels back
Yeah.
all the way to Chicago, that also can be seen in Minnesota and has been seen the entire duration of his time in New York. He doesn't play rookies, especially when you're in contention era, which we are in under his perception. So you have to try to find either another vet or somebody else, a TJ Warren or a PJ Tucker, to be inserted in place of Precious so you don't come across these situations where because of fatigue and minutes and small nick injuries, no pun intended, now you see yourself with this lineup of Josh, Precious, and Mitch. It doesn't work on either end. It's not capable of switching. It's not capable of guarding the perimeter. And it's not capable of scoring in any way because you have three guys that can be sagged off on the perimeter and you just clamp down on the post and you stop all dribble penetration and you have your offense stall out like I did for us in the first, second, and fourth quarters.
Absolutely. And on top of that, it's like all season long, the transition defense just not been there. And again, it wasn't there today. And sometimes you'll see it with sometimes I understand it more with the second unit because sometimes what happens with the second unit is the second unit is a little bit smaller. The Spurs has historically always been a bigger team than we have. So if you get a small guy guarding a wing in transition, there's not much a 6'2", 6'4" guy can do against somebody coming down the lane who's 6'8" with full head of speed. It's like there's not much to do. So I kind of expect that sometimes with the second unit, but the first unit wasn't really giving it to them either. And I'm just like, okay, I expect more for McCall and OG on that end of the floor in transition. And I also, off nights happen sometimes. So I don't kill them that much for not making shots. Sometimes you miss shots, sometimes you make them. But the defense was really, really, really atrocious. And then Karl-Anthony Towns really good offensively in the first half. There was a stretch in the game when Chris Paul was eyes lit up. He's like, oh, pick and roll Karl-Anthony Towns, mid-range, pull up, money. He's going to drop. I'm going to shoot. You cannot drop on Chris Paul, man. It's like, I don't know how many times you got to cat, man. You got to come up on shooters, especially Chris Paul. Like, that's his shot. He's been doing the same thing for how long he's been in the league? 20 years? I know he's on a scouting report that he's going to pull up from the midi. Stop dropping on Chris Paul. Just stop. It's stupid. And then it's like, it was a breath of fresh air when Mitch came into the game. Because now you're starting to see the defense start to pick up. You start to make a little bit of run sometimes. And then I'm like, all right, I'm starting to see Cat and Mitch together. I'm starting to like it. But then they go on another run and they just pick on Cat with Mitch in the game. And it's just like, it was frustrating.
I am thoroughly convinced that it doesn't matter who we have on this roster or who the head coach was, there would be equal amounts of criticism no matter whatever multiverse we existed in. I see a constant when we lose or if we barely eke out wins, the same people push the same narratives. It's time to fire Tom Thibodeau. Tom Thibodeau can't develop rookies. I've been surrounded by ass crack Tates all week. It's been, I've actually, for the first time, decide just to step back and allow someone else to demand to take this. I can't take this shit no more, man. It's so predictable, right?
Yeah.
If we had Giannis or Luka or LeBron, or it don't matter who we had, we would still have people complaining about this or that, nitpicking at what kind of rotations we're using, who the head coach is. But it's the same around the entire league. This is why I always try to drill into people. If you submerge yourself into other fan bases, Twitter spaces, if you listen to people going off, or if you go to other YouTube channels of people who run Locked On Warriors, you would have heard in the first 2 months of this season, people calling for Steve Kerr to be fired. The man that won you championships, fired. That is absurd because he wasn't playing Jonathan Kuminga enough, because Mosey Moody wasn't getting enough touches. Well, what happens? They trade for Jimmy Butler, and now they're one of the hottest teams in the NBA, and people are starting to talk about contention. Variables matter. Situations matter. The pieces you have on the chessboard matter. We don't have Brunson. Thibodeau is also limited, and he was, this young coach they have out there in San Antonio comes from the best coaching tree possible. I'm sure he's talking to Pop on a weekly, daily, maybe even hourly basis on game day. And he's getting great instruction, not just from him, but Brett Brown, who coaches Sixers, is his lead assistant. Another long-time, very intelligent, high IQ basketball head, giving him in his ear, telling him what to do. And today, the Spurs employed a great game plan with screens, staggered screens, multiple screens, getting Knicks defenders off their drivers to have nice lanes to the basket, but also drawing fouls too. I saw multiple Gortat screens. Let's talk about that. This Say Mama Sa guy wasn't just drawing threes. He was saying Gortat screens from the 4 and the 3 position, helping their drivers like Chris Paul and Castle get into the lane, cutting off Cat. He was running Gortat strings on OG and Cat and moving them off of the block to the guys at the rim. That is a inability for Tibs to adjust and say, you know what? Stop trying to fight through them. Just switch. When the right lineups are out there, switch. So, okay, instead Castle seeing Cat, now maybe he's seeing Deuce. Now maybe he's seeing Mikal. That wasn't the game plan. That's where Thibodeau really suffers, is his inability to adjust on the fly in game. In a 7-game series, he didn't adjust from game 2 to game 3. Sometimes it really, incredibly, as we saw against Cleveland and we saw against Philadelphia. But sequence to sequence and quarter to quarter, he really struggles, and it's gotten worse since Johnny Bryant's left. There's no doubt about that. But damn it, if Knicks fans just understood the same narratives are being pushed across the other 29 teams, and at some point of every season of every team, there's some bum-ass part of the fan base calling for someone to be traded and someone to be fired.
Yeah, Lee's had it today. Lee's had it today. I guess this is what happens when you take a break. Come back to some beer. Oh man, you just come at guns a-blazing. Speaking of adjustments, so Mama say Mama Samakusa, right? He goes off for 7 threes. We going with the 2 big lineup of Mitch and Cat. It's yielded dividends for us, and the Spurs were scared of that lineup. They went to Mitch early because to be honest with you, when Mitch and Cat was in the game defensively, it was a lot better. Even when they were picking on Cat, you still had to contend with Mitch at some point, and Mitch made some incredible plays. One of the things I think I would have done differently is Mitch was guarding Sohan. I would have put Mitch on Mama Say Mama Sa and put Cat on Sohan, because at least Mitch, I feel like he can just compute those switches faster, because they Chris Paul just kept running that pick and pop of Mama Say Mama Sa like 3 times in a row, and Cat just lost every single time. Yep. Get Cat off of him. Put him on Sohan, who's not, he's really sometimesy. We already mentioned the Precious adjustment. I mean, I feel like everything else is just on the team, really. Everything else is on the actual players in my eyes. Like, you have to play better in transition. Your complete letter has to match what was happening in the third quarter. But scheme-wise, I think I would have changed those 2 things personally.
I mean, of course, you hit the nail on the head. Definitely. Listen, I trust your adjustments more than my own, because you've been in those situations. You have had the ball in your hands in real life scenarios, and you've known what could stop you, what couldn't stop you. Or if you're on the opposite side, you play more ball than me, you know how to stop someone in real time better than I do. But I agree with you that my eye test and the simulations that I've seen in real game time, I agree with you. I might even go further to say, just put OG on him. Like single coverage, just have him guard him on the perimeter. If maybe he dribbles inside, let OG switch on someone else, let Cat pick him up once he's driving, or let Mitch pick him up once he's driving. But on the perimeter, OG, stay on him and shut the valve off. And there was even, I thought this broadcast duo was going to be the C team. I thought Alan Hahn did a pretty good job tonight calling the game. And he said that multiple times early in the first quarter, this guy's getting hot. Adjust. Someone needs to get on him. And did Tibs adjust? No, he didn't. And that's one of the most frustrating things about Tom Thibodeau as your head coach. He does so many things at a really elite level, culture building, repetition, commitment to defense, guys knowing their roles, establishing a hierarchy, get the best out of vets, really maximizing trades, knowing which rotations are going to be excellent defensively to give you a great net rating. But he has really bad Achilles heels to land a plane full circle. And the biggest one is adjusting in game when the game is telling you this is what's happening, and he refuses to adjust from a game plan that he's seen over his 40 years of coaching work. Well, this is a new era. A bum like Mama Say, Mama Saw could not have given you 30 in 2005.
Yeah.
Because in 2005, they would have had me running pin downs for him in the mid-range, and that would have been a clank, or because guys would have just given him no space, and he doesn't have the athletic ability to handle the dribble around them and get to the hoop. Majority of his shots were on the perimeter. The way the game is trending now, guys like that can go off from three. You have to adjust differently defensively, especially when they're using ball screens to create separation from your defenders. You have to adjust. Either, as I said, through a switch or adjusting the assignment to put OG or, as you said, Mitch on Mama Say, Mama Saw, so at least he's seeing the toughest defender of the five guys on the court. You also, on the flip side, don't try to compete by scoring 2 points against three. Shoot more threes and establish lineups on the court that give you the opportunity to shoot more threes. Hart, Precious, and Mitch doesn't do that, especially when you're down double digits. Damn it. Try. That's when you break.
Yeah, try something else, man.
That's when you freestyle, damn it. And you got the guys on, yes, some of them are bums. If Shamit's trying to play, tell Shamit, shoot 4-5 times every quarter, a three-pointer. Stop going in the mid-range. Stop driving. Be the Mama Say, Mama Saw for us. Come out those curls, catch and shoot. Yeah. Let it fly. I don't care if you're 0 for 7 for your first 7 attempts. Keep shooting. Shooters shoot. It's what you do. It's why you're in the NBA.
Yeah. I'm with you. The only reason I wouldn't put OG on Mama Say, Mama Saw is because Stephon Castle was also killing us.
He's going to be great.
Yeah. Great. And he's really good, man. He's really good. And that slow step when he goes to the hole, it really throws off your timing when you come into blocking shots. And he hit a couple of jump shots too. So like we kind of had to account for him driving to the hole because he was killing us. He definitely was. If it wasn't Mama Say, Mama Saw, it was him for a large portion of the game. But yeah, other than that, I don't know. I would have loved to see. I mean, campaign shot pretty well. He actually had a decent game campaign after struggling for a while. He had, he was always going to compete on the defensive end. He hit a couple of threes. Mitch, I feel like Mitch was having such a good run at the free throw line. And then I think he just got a little nervous when he went to hike at Mitch. Because he only missed like one free throw coming into tonight's game. And then he shot 50% for the field. Like that's going to be one of the next steps for Mitch because I'm starting to see parts of his game elevate. He's starting to like go to the blocks a little bit more. His wind is back. He's offensive rebounding more. That piece, that big piece for us is going to be him hitting free throws because then we can afford to have him in the game in crunch situations and playing defense. Because like I said, they did not want any parts of Mitch at all because he was changing the game for us. I don't know what the plus minus was, but he might be among the top if I had to look. Let me check it. Go ahead, Lee. I'm sorry.
Oh, I remember when I first started watching ball, and then when the mid 2000s, teams, the dearth of talent on teams, usually you had like some teams would have one superstar. Then they would have like one or two stars, mid stars. Everyone else was one dimensional. I think about the Wizards teams of the old, DeJuan Blair and Juan Ditson and Steve Blake. Those teams were very mediocre. And it was very different percentages of how often you go out and lose to a team like that every night. The NBA is at the all-time high for talent. The level of guys that are coming in, these are kids who have been playing since they were 12 years old in AAU circuits, and internationally, it's even more intense. They're guys who are playing professionally since 14 or 15 against grown-ass men and grown-ass physicality. So both here at home domestically and abroad internationally, the talent is at an all-time high. So this Spurs team, I say that because this Spurs team is missing their generational, soon-to-be top 10 greatest player ever in Victor Wembanyama. They're also missing top point guard in the NBA, a very clutch player in De'Aaron Fox. But they have maybe a top 3, top 4 point guard of all time. Yes, he is way past his prime offensively, but he's still high IQ and he doesn't need to score to impact the game in Chris Paul. CP3 was a general out there. Yeah. And as long as you have someone with his IQ, right, like Jalen Brunson, very similar player, he is surrounded by lottery picks, high-level lottery picks. Castle, who was my preseason pick for Rookie of the Year, looks like he's going to win it. Sohan, Swiss Army knife, can defend all 5 positions, excellent lob threat. That Vassell, who is becoming one of the best two-way players in the entire NBA, can score at all 3 levels, not elite, but very good, and is really good string navigation defensively. Those are 3 guys around Chris Paul. Yeah, they didn't have a whole lot of center depth, and Biyombo's like awful option at 5. And Sohan is not that you don't want Sohan at the 5, you want him at the 4, but damn it, they have enough grit, enough defense, and enough high IQ culture and accountability by CP3 to beat anyone on any given night. If that team doesn't come out fully expecting the worst and prepared for anything. That was a Knicks tonight, and we lost to a very talented young core in the San Antonio Spurs. It does not excuse it, but it makes it understandable as to why the talent level is at an all-time high, and the Knicks need to come out with the same energy, no matter if it's the OKC Thunder or the Washington Wizards, because you will get belt to ass if you not come out with not just the ability to be prepared, but the ability to adjust. And that's on Tom Thibodeau, and he didn't do that tonight, and that's why the L is on him.
Yeah, good point too, man. With Chris Paul, I feel like Chris Paul, with everything that was happening, I feel like he was part of like some of the big moments in the game that blew it open. First was that little mini run he went on by himself in the first quarter when he hit a couple of back-to-back threes and was popping us to death. And then again in the fourth quarter where he just set the table for Mama Sa to hit a perfect 7 for 7 for 3. I think he was kind of involved in quarterbacking both of those situations, whether he was scoring or not. Floor generals are definitely needed in these type of games, and we didn't have one tonight. We definitely didn't have one tonight. We had Karl-Anthony Towns, and we had McCall, who's supposed to be our second in command. He's actually been playing well offensively, 23 points a game for the last 5 games. Fell short tonight. Yeah, we just didn't have the shooting, man. We just didn't have it from anybody outside of 3 people. When Mitchell Robinson is your second leading scorer going into the second half, you're in trouble.
Yep, you're cooked.
Yeah,
you're cooked.
Yeah,
I thought their game plan. I cannot forget their young head coach's name. Thought he coached a hell of a game tonight. Their game plan was they saw the Knicks are one of the top 3 teams scoring points in the paint. They're like, this team is probably going to give us 60, 65. How can we limit that to 45, 50? How do we do it? For, I would guess, 40% of the game, off the top of my head, we saw that 2-3 zone. They went into that to force us. Let's see what they do with their shooters, and we're going to be in zone every time those 3 guys I mentioned, Hart, Precious, and Mitchell, are on the floor together. Now we're really forcing Shamet to shoot threes, not just shoot threes, but well-contested threes, or we're packing the paint and keeping Deuce and Bry from getting rhythm, or Mikal getting rhythm, where they drive in and then they curl out and get to the mid-range. Both those guys thrive in those positions, and those valves were cut off. Those routes were closed. That was great game planning by the Spurs. And if you look at the stats, have it pulled up here, total rebounds, we lost 44 to 52, and points at paint, we actually lost tonight 50 to 52 because of Mama Sa, his 3-point shooting spaced out our defense and allowed for them to have open driving lanes. And it was very, very embarrassing. I mean, the entry passes that they were getting into the paint had me. I was like you, bro. I was trying to find something to throw into the TV. I was like, why can't we just adjust the defensive schemes to fit the opponent that we're playing? Having the same concept every time, it drives me crazy. But we'll see what the playoffs have in store, man. All these Fire Tips people out there, they're like, hey, man, We ain't gonna come back, bro. We need you. We need you. We need you to
We
fire
need the charge.
to fire Tibs commander. I'm not doing it until the playoffs. And the one thing that I think is absolutely absurd, and please bookmark this: we are not losing to the Detroit Pistons in a 7-game series.
I'm tired of that, man.
Are we watching the same product? Like, I feel like these people that get on Twitter, they see one clip of a Cade Cunningham game winner and it's a bum ass Miami Heat, and they're like, "Oh my God, we're gonna lose. This team is gonna kill us in 7 games." Can we lose one game in February? Hell yeah. By 40? Yes. A 7-game series, the better team always wins. Ratios and percentages are to the better team's advantage because over the stretch, it's hard through attrition to beat a team that has more talent than you. And we have more talent than the Pistons. Even if they had Jaden Ivey, we have more talent than the Pistons. As long as Jalen Brunson is playing, we ain't losing to anyone possible competitor in the first round.
Yeah, I feel you on that. True. Even the Sims story arc is also funny to me because it was like that's the funniest because like everybody hated Sims, right? You know, Sims Hive over here. I was Sims Hive. Then he starts getting his stats where he's the best, you know, rim defender in the league. He's averaging like half a point a game here. He gets traded to the Bucks because we got Ariel Hukporty here. We got Mitch Robinson coming back, and he's on a contract that we're not going to be able to resign him and keep him really when other teams have interest. He goes to the Bucks. He has a highlight dunk on the fast break, and everybody's like, "Why did we trade him?" I'm just like, "Wait, what?" it's like, have we not seen him have a highlight dunk in the Knicks? And then go. That's all he can do. And then he does the same thing on the Bucks, and everybody's like, "Why did we trade him?" It's insane to me.
In the last 5 games, Jericho Sims has only scored in 2 of the games. Last 0 points, 3 out of 5 days. It's in the conversation with Obi. Obi drops 30 or 40 something one time, and all of a sudden, Obi Toppin is like, "Why did we let this superstar go, bro? You had like 13 tonight, man. Let's just keep things realistic and in perspective."
Yeah, this is someone who was rooting for Obi to stay. I was definitely rooting for Obi to stay. I thought he could be more.
We both did.
Wrong. The defense. I thought maybe the defense could catch up if he got some more playing time. I was wrong. The defense never caught up.
Neither did the rebounding. Neither did the rebounding.
But the one thing he could do is he could hit corner threes. He could run the floor, and you know he can give you big scoring games when he has time. The Pacers are injured. Like everybody's injured. So he scores 30 because everybody's injured. Just like he scored 30, 40 points here when everybody was injured.
At the end of every season.
But everybody's like, why did we trade him after everybody was crapping on him before? I don't know, man. It's like,
bro,
I feel like I'm in Bizarro land. It's like he did the same thing here. He did the exact same thing here. When Randall wasn't playing, he would score 30 or score 40 and have sometimes he defense. He's doing the same thing with the Pacers.
Yeah.
It's just interesting. It's an interesting time, man.
I bring that up because it's indicative of Knicks fans. And I think that perception of Knicks fans are smarter than anyone else, maybe about their own team. Maybe they're able to recognize a play. They're able to read defenses or see an offensive play being run out. And so many Knicks fans have played basketball in their life that they're able to recognize, oh, they're running this right now. But Knicks fans don't watch the rest of the league, which is why they get tunnel vision and they operate in silos where only what's happening with the Knicks, only the Knicks are going through this. Only the Knicks. Only Tom Thibodeau messes up rotations. Only Tom Thibodeau doesn't play the kids. Only Tom Thibodeau plays X, Y, and Z over those 3 guys. This is happening to every team, every year, with every player and coach. The fans are turning against whoever they root for at some point in the season. Like, I just implore people, watch more ball and integrate yourself into other communities to see how like-minded we all are about the team that we love. Emotions breed delusion. So try to separate yourself from a game. The Knicks winning or losing has no bearing on your worth as a person or who you are as a human being. They are a separate entity. Leave yourself to yourself and don't worry about whether the Knicks win or lose at the end of the day or make the playoffs. We're probably going to go to the second round. I'm a guess ECF. I'm with you, pitch for Timmy. Let's enjoy the ride, man.
Yeah, let's enjoy the ride. And it's like,
holy hell.
I'm gonna add one more thing to that. And everybody right now wants to be the Celtics, right? Everybody right now, today, wants to be the Celtics. A few years ago, there was talk about breaking up Jalen Brown.
Yep.
And well, my brain, you know,
Tatum.
You know where I'm going with this.
Yeah.
That was the talk in the NBA about breaking up those two for like 3-4 years. 3-4 years. And now they changed coaches, things happened, they figure out what worked, what did. I'm saying this to say I don't know if Thibodeau's gonna be here, if he's the man or not. I don't know if Mikal Bridges and OG is going to be the answer. To me, I'm hopeful, and to me, it's promising that all these guys can get it together. But if you don't just look at the Knicks and look at the league as a vacuum and look how things worked around the league, very seldom does a team come together the first year and things just magically work out. The only time I've seen that really happen is like the Raptors when they traded for Kawhi Leonard. I don't think I remember any other situation when that's ever happened. Ever.
And who was Kawhi Leonard? A finals MVP.
Right.
With a chip.
Like, after that Kawhi Leonard, can you name any team in the last 20 years who they just put a team together and they won a championship that year?
I'll save everyone time. Nobody.
So if 20 years go by and you've never seen a team who's been assembled that same year win a championship, I just need you guys to take that logic and apply it to the Knicks and not go ape if we don't win the championship this year.
Very, 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 very well said. If you think you said the Celtics, so let's talk about the Celtics just to add a little bit of extra perspective for the fans who are still fuming right now and calling for Shitado, whatever the stupid name is. Sandman, my God. Jason Tatum's first year in the postseason, they miraculously, this is the 2017-2018 season, they made the conference finals and lost to LeBron's Cavs. Great stretch, right? You're like, finals, here we come. First year with Tatum and Brown in the playoffs together, they go over conference finals. Next year, they lose in 5 games to the Bucks in the second round. Okay, all right. What happens next year? Damn it, we're back. A tough 6-game series in the conference finals. We lose to the Heat, who end up in the finals. Not bad. Pretty impressive. What happens next year? They lose in the first round in 5 games to the Nets. What happens next year? Finals. Wow, we look good. Team under Udoka, we're in the finals for the first time since the 2009-2010 season. Damn it, we might win it. Nope. You get smacked and look like you're not even a real contender against a team that's won 3 chips that time against the Golden State Warriors. What happens next year? You lose in the conference finals. Then what happens? Championship against the Dallas Mavericks. That took 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years I'm talking about right now. We are in year 5 of Tom Thibodeau. That was a total of 3 head coaches. You're talking about Ime Udoka, Mazzulla, and the white guy who's a GM right now. I can't remember his name.
Right.
It escaped me. The Butler coach. 3 coaches. A rotating cast of Isaiah Thomas, Kyrie Irving, Gordon Hayward, Al Horford, Marcus Morris. I'm naming this on top of my head because I remember all these guys a turnover. They bring KP. KP's out. KP's in. They win the finals. It's a stroke of luck combined with continuity and the right head coach and the right opening, the right playoff route to win a championship. These are the ingredients that beget a ring. We are in, right now, in my opinion, year 1 of being considered a contender. Fact. Damn, man, this shit don't happen overnight. Fact. Adjust your expectations. Basketball mirrors life. Nothing's given. You have to earn that shit, and we haven't earned it yet. So until we do, nights like this will happen.
Yeah, I got nothing else to say. Cut, print, beautiful. That's it. That's it. That's it. That's it. You got any ooh picks, bro picks?
Bro, it's Knicks fans for their delusion.
Oh, man.
Terrible expectations, bro. Come on, man. Holy hell.
Holy hell, man. Woo.
Think about also, it's not even think about the Denver Nuggets. Nuggets, you have Joker, revolution. I'm gonna say revolutionary basketball player. One of one. Maybe might end up being maybe the second or third greatest center of all time. I already have him in my personal top 5 Mount Rushmores of centers. Dude, he's a badass. He does everything but defense, and everything else he does, elite superstar level. It's unbelievable, right? Think about how long him and Mike Malone together it took to win a championship. I would guess it was 7 to 8 years until they finally won. It was a while. It was a stretch of first round exits. I remember that first time they made the playoffs, and I was like, they might be able to beat the aging Spurs. Nope, the Spurs smacked the shit out of them in the first round. And guess what happened? They had to retool. Michael Porter Jr., Jamal Murray, they get injured for long stretches, missing the postseason. Joker has to carry Malone. We don't have nobody else. Fire Malone. We need a new coach. We need a young coach who runs 5 out. Shut the... Don't you understand? It takes time. Have you ever just met the love of your life and been married, have 5 kids and $1 million overnight? That shit takes work, damn it. I've seen my dad spend 45 years as a blue-collar worker until he finally made his first million, sacrificing blood, sweat, and tears. Shit takes work. It doesn't happen overnight just because you have Jalen Brunson and Karl-Anthony Towns on your team. Shit takes time. Damn, man. Fuck, man. Basketball is life. That metaphor exists for a reason.
Man, I wish more people was watching this show tonight, bro.
Bro, I'm sorry, man. I had cut tonight, bro.
Oh my god.
I've been out, man. You know what I mean? I had to make up for lost time, bro.
Yo, my gosh. There's like 27 clips on the clip of this.
Bro, I'll be honest, man, there's something about this show that brings out the best of me ball talk. You know, when I'm talking to my dad, I end up getting stooled. For some reason, if it's like me and you in a chat, you don't stool me. There's something about the show and me and you face to face. I feel empowered, bro. You're the battery in my back, and I'm like, I know you don't give me the space to cook when I'm hot. You don't feed me the ball. Let's go, man. Let's put a chip tonight on the podcast.
Go, man. Like, oh my gosh.
It's just real life here. It's just real life. Basketball mirrors life. It just shit takes time.
Exactly. It's just real life. Stuff takes time. Like I say, I defend Thibodeau all the time. Not because I feel like he's a good coach. Yeah. But I also feel like he just gets blamed for stuff that's so stupid, yo.
Yes.
And I'm not saying he's the coach that's gonna bring us a championship.
He might not
be. But he might still be. Like, I think that's what it is. I think he might still be. I'm not out on that yet.
And if he does, there will be a huge amount of luck that goes into it too.
Right.
Especially concerning injuries. If Tom Thibodeau wins the championship, it's because Jalen Brunson didn't miss a single playoff series. Karl-Anthony Towns didn't miss a single playoff series. OG Anunoby didn't miss a single playoff series. Mitchell Robinson didn't miss a single playoff series. Those type of strokes of luck, right? They'll be a part of Tom Thibodeau winning the chip. Not just as Tom Thibodeau became overnight an evil genius on a Phil Jackson level. You have to have health and continuity to win a chip. You have to have the right route to the championship, the right matchup. Some matchups can kill you. You're like, why can't we beat this team? Yeah. It's a matchup situation. We've seen it throughout the course of history. Had the Lakers with Kobe win it back-to-back championships, then get swept by the Mavs the next year because that Mavs team was built to beat the Lakers. It happens. We have to get to the point to where the roster can sustain injuries and sustain, doesn't matter who we match up against, we have a shot every night. We're not there yet, but we will be. I trust Leon Rose. We will be.
We will be.
And a rookie ain't doing it, damn it. Tyler Cohen, Hot Porty, TJ Warren. I saw someone say, bro, there are people on Twitter saying, play PJ Tucker. The man hasn't played in a calendar year since April of last year. Bro, what are we talking about? PJ Tucker? What the?
He's gonna save us, man. He's gonna save us.
What?
No, he is. He's gonna save us.
Dude, oh man.
He's gonna save us. The one thing I will say is, man, I wish we got some of these rookies a little bit more burned. A little bit more burned.
Yes. I'm so glad you said that, Jay. You and I both agree on this. No one plays rookies less than Tibs.
Yeah.
There's an issue there. Pacome Diop has played the fewest minutes of any first-round pick in the entire NBA.
Yeah.
That's a problem. These guys need more turn. If it's a blowout, why put him in with a minute left? Put him in with 7 minutes left, 6 minutes left. Maybe their run ignites a comeback. Maybe. right? And then, hey, that's great experience. But only giving them G League experience is why you and I were saying, why is Alec Burks playing to end the season instead of Emmanuel Quickly? Those type of
Right.
situations frustrate the hell out of me. And
Right.
that's one of Tom Thibodeau's worst qualities. And it's why in the past I've called for him to be fired and why I will call him to be fired again based on the playoffs.
Yeah, like nights like tonight where it's like, all right, I can see the size difference. We need shooting.
Yeah.
Like put Bacoma in there.
Yeah.
That's like for sure. That's how I feel it. That's how I see it. All right, man. I feel all right. So Knicks fans get the bro pick today. Oh, the delusional ones. I guess that's it. And any U picks for you? I know did we even mention the Zion dunk on
Oh, that was sick.
on here?
That was unbelievable.
The Zion dunk on Stewart?
I haven't been here, so I'm not sure, but that was an unbelievable dunk.
Yeah, I guess that could be the U pick for tonight.
That dunk was from Mariah Mills. He's like, I see you, shorty. This dunk is for the BBLs. Mariah Mills is the name of the OnlyFans chick that was like he was getting in trouble with.
Oh yeah. You're right. I forgot. Of course, you remember her name.
She had a BBL the size of my desk, man. That shit's insane, bro. That's AI.
He was like, Lee was like and subscribe. Oh man.
Oh boy.
All right.
Go St. John's. Rooting for St. John's.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, and Ebony mentioned that too. St. John's being in the Final Four, and and balling out. Shout out to St. John's.
Great coach.
New York squad. Any New York representative we're gonna root for. So shout out to St.
Hell
John's. Hell yeah. Yeah, let's do that. I'm with that. All right, well, that's our show. We got another game coming up tomorrow against the Hornets. We got some time to work on some pick and roll defense, and we have some time to kind of lick our wounds and get right back to it. Minutes police, you're on the clock. I know y'all gonna be watching the minutes tomorrow since we played back to back. I'm wondering if Mitch is actually going to play since he played tonight, and how much the Knicks trust that, or are you going to see more Precious Achiuwa tonight? I wonder if that's going to be happening, but hopefully we snap back and win tomorrow. It'd be great to see some rookies play tomorrow, but I don't know about that. We'll see what happens.
I personally would like to see Precious Achiuwa removed from the rotation to send a message to him that his play needs to improve and he really needs to be in the gym nonstop, work on that 3-point corner shot. It's his play's been unacceptable as of late, and I love Precious Achiuwa, huge Precious fan, but he's not making a case to stay on this team beyond this year.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he's definitely right about that. And yeah, I mean, that's gonna be $9 million off the books if we don't sign him, or else you trade him for somebody else. Hey, maybe we'll trade him for Dante DiVincenzo. Who knows? Right?
I mean, honestly, I've been thinking about it as quiet as kept. Robert Williams, man, Time Lord over in Portland. He's injury prone and he's a risk. You have to hope he's healthy, but he is a dynamic defender. And there's been portions in the month of March where I watched games with him, and he switched 1 through 5. And his rim protection next to another big, you can have him in Ayton, and he provides defending 2 guys at once, like the best post defenders do. Having him next to Cat would be unbelievable. Keep Mitch, just sign trade Precious for him. I love Time Lord. Finals experience, second team all defense. He's a beast. He has no offensive game, but he can pass. He's got decent playmaking chops.
No, that's a fact. Listen, he's always been good defensively. It's just like that, the injury proneness.
Yes, very injury prone.
I think he makes
12.
Pretty similar money to Mitch too, so I'm not sure
12.
if it would be the 1-to-1.
Yeah, he's got 1 more year after this season.
Yeah, because Precious makes like $9 million. I'm going off of memory because I feel like I did a show on it a while ago. I think he makes around $13 million or something. So yeah, probably is going to be like, it would have to be Precious and something else, and that's the real issue.
It could be Precious and Shamet on a 1-year deal that's non-guaranteed, and then just wave off the books for Portland. But I would attach a swap for Time Lord. I think it's worth it. And to me, Time Lord, he solved so many of our issues. When we think about how do we fix the Knicks, I'm not worried about offense at all. all my attention is on defense. How can we get more consistent defensively? How can we become a better switching team, a better pick and roll team? And Time Lord can be that pre-switch option in the pick and roll to take the pressure off a cat and let cat just roam and be able to beat side shot blocker. That's
Right.
my dream for the Knicks. That's what I think Mitch is going to do eventually too. But listen, Time Lord he's so dynamic, he's so talented, and the contract's affordable. I'm sure Leon has a big board of guys that are going to be potential targets, and the incentive's there. He plays on a bad team, a team that's rebuilding. Give him a swap. Give him maybe a young player. I think we can get him. Realistic.
Okay. Shout out to Fritz, Mr. NBA Economy. He's giving us some NBA Economy type stuff in the chat. First, he says that Precious has a $6 million contract, and that Brunson's extension kicks in this summer, which means less money available, probably. So moves like that might be hard.
The cap does go up by 14 million, though. I know that for sure.
Okay, well that might change certain things. I don't know the numbers, but that's something to keep in mind.
Shamit, Payne, Precious, all come off the books.
Yeah, that's why we have to. That's why it's even more imperative that guys like Kolick get a little bit of run, because Kolick and Pacone, because our cap goes up, Jalen Brunson's numbers kick in, then we trade all those picks for McCall, so we're gonna have to work out some numbers for McCall.
Yeah.
So we have to develop our rookies to keep them on the books, to keep them in our system and thriving off the bench for us.
You're right.
Like it has to happen just for the money to work and for us to keep our core together.
Good point.
Yeah. All right. Went off a little tangent at the end, but cool. Shout out to somebody said Mitch double. Yeah, double, man. If he hits free throws, it might have been a tighter game at the end. Who knows? But Mitch worked on those free throws. I see you working, Mitch. I see even the arc is arcing a little bit more than usual. I feel like you're on the cusp of being consistent. You got a little bit nervous in crunch time, but it looked like the free throws are coming along.
And shout out to the team, really looking for him. They got him on 2 lob attempts. Love seeing that. And I liked his relocation too. Like he missed on one putback, he relocated to the right side, got the rebound, put it up on the right side for an easy deuce. Love that, man. I keep moving, keep looking for the opportunities, keep your hands soft, and be able to catch that ball and put it through the hoop. Don't turn into Precious. And you don't be a beast on the offensive end. That's all we need from you is a solid 6, 4, 5 points per game and your usual offensive rebounding prowess. I love Mitch. He's definitely top 3 favorite Knicks for me. I understand the value. For
sure, man. Longest tenured Nick in the Knicks team right now. Sure. Shout out to Mitch. All right, yo, that's the show. Thank you guys for watching. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Shout out to Fritz. Shout out to Picks with Timmy who came over here. Picks and Sandman were going at it. Shout out to Nick Yak. Shout out to S. Parker. Shout out to Anna Grill. Shout out to who else is in here? Hit him up, NJNY. Shout out to you as well. And everybody else is rocking with the KOT show. If you like that show, hit that like, subscribe. We're here after every game talking Knicks basketball, and we definitely will be here tomorrow talking Knicks versus Hornets. And also shout out to new subscribers too. We climbing up slowly. Shout out to new subscribers as well.
Shout out Carlos Luis. Shout out Jay Thompson. Shout out to Knit Stan, Cred Ward. Appreciate y'all, man. I appreciate all the love. And thank you, Fritz, for holding down the fort, producing today. We appreciate you too.
Definitely appreciate you as I stream from my sisters. Thanks, sis. All right. That's the show. Thank you guys for watching, man. Lee, let them know where we can find you.
At Twitter _ Lee Escobedo, you know where you know what it is, man. Just search #bum. You probably don't see me calling someone else a bum. Hell, I might be calling myself a bum, man. Some nights I am a bum. Twit Book Club. Got recommended an excellent comic from my homie Mike at Pete's Comics here in Dallas called Marvel Knights Fantastic Four 1, 2, 3, 4. Wanted to read it since Fantastic Four is going to be releasing this summer. This is Grant Morrison's miniseries, 5 issues about Doctor Doom putting the 4 Fantastic Four members through psychological warfare. They end up getting what they want. Reed stretches his brain to be the best genius in all the multiverse. Sue Storm gets her the lover in Namor. The Thing is turned to a human. And the question is, are they happier when they get what they want? Or is part of the strife and the turbulence of being the most famous family really what they want, even though it comes with lots of sacrifice. And it's a really beautiful story. Grant Morrison is my favorite comic writer. Fantastic Four, 1, 2, 3, 4, only $15 in the comic store.
All right. Nice little psychological
type
of story. Always good to examine the human psyche and the way the stories involve that type of storyline is always interesting to me. So shout out. All right, you already know. Find us at the KLT Show on Twitter, the Nick of Time Show on Instagram, and the Nick of Time Show on Facebook as well. Also, you know where we're streaming at. We're also on SoundCloud, iTunes, Google Play, and Stitcher. Shout out to the best mind in the game and Fritz, who's helping us stay up to breast on those platforms. All right, that's the show. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you next time. And I just gotta let you know, it's a mess out here in these Knicks streets, man. I don't have the soundboard, but you already know that's the show. We out of here. Peace.
Shout out to World Wide West. Everywhere we go, we leave a worldwide mess.
New York, big city of dreams. New York, big city of dreams.
NYC.